Hello, xin chào mọi người. Chào mọi người quay lại video tiếp theo. Hôm nay gia đình mùa hè sẽ có món mới chơi là đi cắm trại nha mọi người. Hôm nay dẫn nguyên gia đình đi mua đồ về cắm trại. Trước hết là mình sẽ đi mua Lieu. Đây là kêu bằng camper nha. Có nhà rồi ghế rồi bàn rồi nhà vệ sinh đồ ngủ luôn trong đó. Bây giờ mình chạy đi mua, tới đó sẽ quay cho mọi người coi tiếp nha. Jack xin xe hết rồi.
I feel in the truck, I'm getting cold.
Ôi mùa hè chạy cái lỗi chiếc xe này trong đó.
Rồi kéo xe này xuống dưới, kéo cái camper về.
Ở trong
Hả?
mùa hè đó.
Để thằng đó đó. Đổ miếng đá nữa là chắc được rồi. Đổ đá nữa xong chạy theo ba vô, khỏi cần đổ thêm. Đây cũng được. Lên xe mày ơi. Đây chạy xuống dưới đó khoảng 40 phút rồi. Kéo về. Mùa hè mình sẽ vừa đi cắm trại câu cá rồi cắm trại ở lại dưới hồ luôn. Không có chạy đi chạy về nữa. Được không mày?
Dục mấy cái nước mới rồi cho.
Nước còn mà. Xếp ra lại luôn.
Còn mà có chừng có 3 hay 4 ngắn thôi.
Của ba.
Ta rồi.
Ơi.
Cho con mắt con iPad cho.
Cái dưới vậy hả?
Tới chỗ mua camper. Đây mọi người, Rod RV nha. Bây giờ tới đây làm giấy tờ thôi, giá cả ta đã xong hết rồi. Làm giấy tờ xong kéo về. Cái gì nói gì mày?
Mua camper
Có đủ tiền không? Đây. Đi vô. Rod RV. Nhà bạn hết nha. Đây có mấy chiếc đầu trong nhà mà không phải chiếc của mình mua nha. Mình quay vòng vòng coi chơi thôi. Áo son tí. Hả? Đi ra coi chiếc mình.
Hả?
Ra coi chiếc mình hả?
Đây, đi bên
Đây bự vậy.
đi bên không. Có phút rồi muốn có đổi lên chiếc cây quá đẹp luôn.
Ở đó phải đổ xe hả?
Ôi dạ.
Chứ không đổ đó không. Để đổ xe không kéo.
Nó gấu chắc luôn.
Không phải chiếc này, ở ngoài xanh. Đây đi chỗ nhà cắm trại.
Chỉ có phút này đẹp không?
Đổi đó phải đổi thêm xe nữa. Chứ không phải đổi đó không được.
Up down, you certainly can. Otherwise, you can browse around. But we have it our next building down.
Okay.
It's parked right on the corner.
Okay.
Everything's open, lights are on. I have to finish up with these folks, and I'll meet you guys down there in 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we can go check it out. Đây, park over there. Đi lại coi, mở cửa. Salem 263 ở đó mày. Đó, chỗ này là bán camper để cho đi cắm trại thôi mọi người. Chưa không có đâu. Không cắm trại mình liều chưa vô ngủ, cắm trại rồi có giống như cái nhà kéo theo rồi ở lại ngủ rồi đi câu cá rồi ăn uống vệ sinh rồi trong đó có hết. Đúng rồi. Thích không mày? Chiếc này nè mày. Chiếc này là của mình mua cho mọi người. Ngủ được 8 người. Nhưng mà chỗ khem nó cho ở có 6 người. Đó. Open. Vào lên mày ơi. Đây.
Here, they have a gun there. Wow.
Con má luôn hả? Không phút. Tao không quét ra nè. Mày mua phải có giường này mày mới chịu nha. Băng bếp. Trên ngủ được 2 người với 2 người. Thế đi ba. Nó nhảy sinh luôn nha. Này giống như cái nhà vậy mọi người. Ghế ngồi cái im không? Ghế ngồi im quá nè.
Đi. Này là phòng em với Ngân đó.
Đúng lạnh.
Này gắn TV lên. Ổ này có sao ba sẵn không nè mà?
Đúng lạnh. Ủa có hả?
Nè.
Đúng lạnh. Tủ đá.
Không mùi mới.
Ôi trời ơi.
Mày đây hả? Mình ở đây phải không?
Đúng rồi.
Ao.
Đây nè, quậy đây nè.
Cho ăn bên chiến thân ngủ đây đừng bên. 2 đứa ngắn nè.
Nền đi đi.
Nói gì thôi ngủ trong phòng rồi.
Nè. Thử phòng trên đây là phòng này là phòng chính đây. Giường nệm. Nằm thử cái yên không? Ấy chà. Hơi cứng nha. Nệm này hơi cứng chút xíu. Cái này có thể được để cái tivi nha mọi người. Trong cái giường này để tivi này đây. Có đầu pin điện đâu hết. Mình kéo đi xong tới chỗ cam xong rồi cái mình kim điện vô rồi nó sáng giống vậy. Ga rồi có sẵn hết. Hôm này ngủ được giường này giường kinh quá, giường kinh nè. Yeah. Đây bằng cái này không phải bằng đá.
I want to look at this
Đá nó nặng.
camper.
But we buy this one.
No.
Thôi.
Why?
I want to buy this something else.
Bữa nay sự thị rộng qua.
I like this one. That's
No.
why I have five water here too.
Chút này mở lên được á.
Mở được đó.
Sao bar cái này mở lên sao đây chút kia người ta lại mở lên.
Có sao ba sẵn. Đã nghe chưa?
I want to buy a different.
Nói đi con đi mua đi, mất Mỹ để đi mua chiếc này, còn con đi mua chiếc khác.
Dad, can we look for a different one?
No, cái này ta cho cái này thôi, cái kia người ta close hết rồi.
Cái kia có người mua rồi.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cái kiểu sâu.
Cái này. Đây bạn này nhậu rồi, ngồi được
Còn nó không có bên bếp đâu.
đây ngồi chắc được 4 người ạ. Ha. 4 người cái gì? Đây đâu kéo ra đừng nữa, kéo ra xong thôi đó.
Khi mình chạy là mình đẩy vô.
Yeah. Đèn đây đèn. Thấy rồi.
Mommy,
Để giờ gắn thêm đèn nữa.
I see a one with upstairs.
Yeah.
I want to look inside of it.
Does look like a fish house, the ice castle.
I like to look inside.
Rồi để cái tivi ở đây nữa là perfect.
Dad, can we look inside it, Dad?
Cái nhiều học đây nè.
Daddy,
Yeah.
can we go inside?
Oh, they not open. That one not open. Ở trong có này có gì nữa đây ta? À, tủ để đồ.
Để đồ ăn.
Có lò nướng nè.
Rồi mà nướng.
Xin. Đây là món tàu.
Con bếp đây trên ngủ 2, dưới ngủ 2 khỏe. Mình lên lên đây.
2 là đây 4 rồi.
Ừ.
Theo đây nè.
Kia 2 là 6, đây 2 nữa 8. Dưới đây cũng
28 đây 2 nữa là 10.
Are we gonna stay in here?
Rồi cháu Cam nó cho vô
Are we
6
gonna stay
người.
in here?
Chú Cam mình muốn vô mấy người mình vô.
Daddy,
Ơi,
I want to look at something else.
thôi, mua cái này rồi.
Thôi cái này đúng là của mày luôn nè, teddy bear nè.
Kìa.
cái thùng để đồ vô nó.
I want to climb
Cái
up.
kia nó không có sót giống gì đâu.
Chiếc này quá bự luôn nha mọi người. Kêu fifth wheel nhưng mà nó bự quá. Oh my goodness.
Còn như cái la này nó mở được hả?
Đây.
Này có upstairs chưa?
Trời ơi, như cái nhà vậy bố ơi.
Trời ơi, coi đã kìa.
Quá đẹp luôn.
Cái này bự hơn của Giang. Cái này bự hơn của Giang.
Biết tủ lạnh mà tủ lạnh cũng sang. Biết. Là cái giường.
Trời ơi, như cái nhà vậy.
Cái nhà với
Cao
còn
dữ
gì
vậy?
đâu khác.
Như cái nhà.
Này cái bếp bên hả? Vậy xin nữa.
Đẹp quá.
Cao dữ vậy.
Ho cái nhà nữa. Hai cái nhà, hai cái room nữa.
Lại lên upstairs nè. Đây, lên đây.
Ơi,
Đây nữa đâu ngoại. Chị khách trên đây nè.
cái này cái cẩm.
Đó, bà đi gửi.
Ồ, màu này sáng rồi không?
Đẹp quá ha.
Có hai cái gửi connect.
Quá đẹp.
Có cái gửi.
Đây có quá trời rộng luôn.
Cái tivi hả?
Bàn ghế rồi.
Thì cái này giao cho mấy người mà người ta ở
Người ta
trên
có
đây
tiền.
luôn á. Người ta có tiền thì đúng rồi, còn phải ở luôn trên đây luôn, những dọn lắm.
Không, ta đi, ta có xe bự ta kéo đi thôi.
Thấy bự.
Nè mình phải bỏ lên trên cái bát luôn, nhưng mà cái bát của xe luôn, chứ không để dưới kéo nữa. Ở bên thùng ở trên.
Daddy,
Ơi,
can we look at that
nó
one?
chung hai bên nhau luôn rồi.
Con này
Cái này nhỏ quá.
Up front, you guys have a couple things going on. So you do have a powered tongue jack on this unit. These are very simple. You just have the up and down on the powered tongue jack.
Okay.
This little switch is actually going to be a light. So if you are backing up to it at night, it's nice just to turn that on so you can actually see the hitch somewhat. The propane cylinders on this unit are located right underneath this cover.
Is it empty or is it?
Those are both full.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and these are just like a barbecue grill propane tank, so to turn them on, you just crank them on open.
Okay.
It does have an auto regulator, so if this tank were to run empty, it'll actually automatically switch over to the other one as long as it's on.
Okay.
Yep.
So when we have to turn on both of them, and then when it's run out, it will kick to the other one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so you can
It's
just
not draining two at the same time.
you can just turn them both on, and whenever you're ready to refill them, you can just unscrew them, pull them right off,
Okay.
bring them to Ace Hardware or wherever it may be,
Okay.
and they can refill them for you. So, this back here is your battery box.
Okay.
So your battery is just right inside of
How many
here.
batteries in it? Just one?
Yep, just one. It's a Group 24 deep cycle.
Okay.
Yep. And then behind that, it's kind of tucked down right in here.
So we just connect the battery to that.
So this is your battery main disconnect.
Okay.
Right now, being that we're plugged into shore power or plugged into the building, this is going to have no effect on the camper. If we were running off of just 12 volt power, if this is out, nothing in the camper is going to work. So this needs to, when you're using the camper, be in and on.
Okay.
And then when you are done camping, you get home, whatever it may be, you just pull that and pop it right out.
Okay. So when we plug in the power, it will charge the battery.
What was that?
When we plug in the power on the back, it will automatically charge the battery.
Yep,
Right, okay.
and when you're plugged into your truck, it will also charge the battery.
Okay.
Yep. And I am going to just leave this in the on position for you guys.
Okay.
When you're traveling, the key, you just want to turn it and leave it in the hole. If you
Okay.
pull it out, they can tear off, which isn't a real good thing.
Okay. So the battery just for the lights, right?
Yep.
What about the fridge and the?
So the battery will run the refrigerator and the lights in the unit.
Okay.
Your microwave, your air conditioner, kind of those heavy draw units,
Yeah.
those need to be plugged into shore power.
Okay.
So if you guys have a generator to bring, that would run everything you needed to, as long as you're north of about 2,500 watts.
Okay.
Yep. And then over on the side, we do have storage compartments. These do have magnetic door latches all the way around, which
Cool.
is kind of a nice
Yeah.
feature. Your power cord is right inside here. These power cords, so they're a 30 amp power connection, which most campgrounds are 30 amp. You guys plan on plugging it in at your house or anything like that?
Yeah, we probably plug it at our house.
Do you have
Not all the time, but Let me see. This look like my washer and dryer.
It's a little bit smaller than the washer and dryers are usually
Okay.
50 amp, but they do make an adapter, and I'll grab you guys one.
Okay.
It goes from 30 amp down to just a standard 110.
Okay.
Yep. So no issue there.
So the adapter you just put in here and then you just connect to the regular one at the house?
Yep.
Okay.
And with the adapter, if you're using that, they don't recommend that you use the air conditioner just because the draw is really, really high.
Okay.
A lot of people do it, I can say that.
Okay. I'll just get the generator and plug it in.
All right. And then moving towards the top. So on the back, these are your release points, and you do have a couple different ones. So with this unit, you actually have a gray release. This is coming from the kitchen. This is the gray water release coming from the bathroom. So this is going to be shower water, dishwater, things like that. This pull back here is actually your black. So that's going to be from the toilet. And basically the process when you drain the tank, you'd want to pull the black valve, let everything start to run out, and then you can pull one or both of the grays, and it'll help kind of assist everything out over there.
Okay.
Yep.
So the black first and then the gray after.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Yep, that should put you in good shape there.
So when I go to the campsite, they have something to connect it to the.
The actual connection or the sewer pipe, you do have to buy those separately.
Okay.
We have them here, or you can get them on Amazon. They're all a standard size, and what
Okay.
I would recommend is either a 10-footer or a 15-footer.
Okay.
Those pipes actually store right in the back bumper here, so this
Okay.
cap just pulls right out, and you can slide it right in there.
Okay.
Yep.
So just got a pipe for that, and then connect to the sewage at the campsite.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Inside of here, there is one thing that's very good to know. So this is your water heater right here. This, if we were to go into the inside control right now and try to use it, it's not going to do anything at all.
Okay.
This is your main power switch.
Okay.
So for it to be functional inside, you do need to turn that on.
Okay.
Yep, so I always leave that in the off position until you get to the campground. Once you're there, flip it on, and you'll
Okay.
be able to use the hot water inside.
Okay.
Yep.
Hot water. Yeah.
And then your leveling jacks, or stabilizing jacks, I should say. Those basically, you have a hand crank that comes with the camper. They just connect, you crank them down. Those are designed just to stabilize the camper. If you actually try to level with those, you'll end up wrecking one of the jacks.
Oh, okay.
So to level the camper, you would use the tongue jack on the front just to get your forward and backwards kind of right where it needs to be. You should carry some sort of boards or blocks with you to get under the tires, just in case you do get a site that's really uneven.
Okay.
Most campgrounds are pretty even though, so you shouldn't have to worry about it all too much. And then you do have a cable satellite inlet. So if that one's really, wow. Just about, yep, they got silicone on it.
That's one for like the TV and
Exactly.
the campground. Have that to connect it in.
See if I got enough to pop that open. Boy, that one is, I really got a lot in there.
So it's super gluing.
Yeah, basically. I'll have one of my shop guys come out with some cleaner and get that to open. On the back, you do have your city water connection and your black tank flush. So this top one, when you're at the campground, if they have water, you would just connect the hose right to that, and you'll have constant water inside of the unit.
Okay. Do you have to buy any like hose or pipe or anything, or they have
Yep.
something I just?
So it's a drinking water safe garden hose.
Oh, okay.
It's just a standard garden hose, but they're
Yeah.
made out of a little different material,
Okay.
which I always think is funny because we all drank out of hoses as kids and we're all still here, you know.
Same thing as this one. This is the you flush it out, or
Yep, that's your black tank flush, so this will be the same system. When you are done camping and you want to clean out the black tank, just connect the garden hose, let it run in there for a few minutes, and then pull the black tank release. And
that's the water that flushed out of toilet, or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, you just connect the garden hose there, and it will clean that tank. Pull the release, you're off and running.
Okay.
Yep. Another jack there. Up here, you do have your freshwater connection. So what this is your onboard water. So if you are camping somewhere that doesn't offer water, that's where you would fill it just to bring it with you. Any camper or travel trailers on the market, they don't recommend that you travel with water in the tanks. So if you are a couple miles away from the campground and you want to stop and fill up your tank, that's just fine. But if you're out on the interstate running 80 miles an hour, you don't want water in the tank.
So if there's water in there, you just flush it out with that.
Nope. So that one, the one on the back, the black tank flush, the holding tank for the toilet, essentially that forces fresh water into it, and it just knocks down any buildup or anything like that. This one, if you wanted to drain it, there's actually a freshwater drain.
Oh, okay.
And those are hidden right down there.
Okay.
Yep, so you would just pull that release, and it'll dump any water that's on your onboard holding tank.
Okay.
Yep. And then this little guy right here, so you do have an outdoor shower or sprayer that comes with the unit. That just plugs right in there, and it's great if you guys are at the beach or something, just to clean your feet off or whatever it may be. And then another cable output here. So essentially, if you have cable running into the other side of the camper, this just directs it through the camper, so you could use an outdoor television if you wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then just a couple of power points right down there. And then up here, so you do have your outside grill. These are pretty nice. The refrigerator that's in this storage compartment.
This one used by the propane up there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And this refrigerator, so this operates off of 110. So if you are not connected to any power source, it's not going to run off the battery like the one inside.
Okay.
Yep. And then your griddle. So you do have a full griddle on this one, and your propane line is right at the back of the griddle.
Okay.
And then down underneath here, you have a little quick connect. It's just like an air compressor that just pops right in. And then you would just spin the valve on the side, and that'll actually feed off of the forward propane tanks.
Okay.
Yep. And these griddles, these are, do you have like a Blackstone at home or something?
Yeah, I do.
Did you season the top of it?
Yeah.
Yep, same exact thing.
Okay.
Yep, just to make sure it doesn't rust or anything. Yep. And then they do put a little lockout right here.
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure that that's down, because those will slide out and hit the door otherwise. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that pretty well covers the outside, so if you guys want, we can head in.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Oh, this smells good.
Okay. And go ahead and get everything piled up here. So inside, this is kind of your main control center. There's quite a few things going on here. So this is your water heater control, and right now it's not going to do anything for us. Reason for that being the switch outside.
Oh yeah, we have to turn on the switch.
So if that's on, you can just hit the on button and then select what temperature you want the water to peak at.
Okay.
This switch is just your main lights in the camper.
Okay.
And then above that, we do have a couple of controls. So this first control, if you press this, you can hear the awning outside.
Yep, that's the thing on the top right there.
Yep. And that's a full powered awning. The awnings, if it is a little bit windy out, it's always good just to put them in. Or if it's more than a sprinkle, it's also good to put them in. The awnings are about $5,000. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, not something you want to damage.
Oh.
And then this button right here, so this is actually going to be the main slide control. And I'm just going to run it all the way in and all the way back out so you guys can kind of hear what it sounds like. So you can hear the motor kind of change there. Once you hear that change, you're all the way in.
Okay.
And then going back out, you'll hear... So you can kind of hear that click or that bang. That's when it's all the way out. And then above that, you do have a couple other buttons. So you got these little buttons right here, and that's going to show your battery. So right now it is 100%.
Okay.
Fresh water, completely empty. Black water, completely empty. And then the gray water tanks, completely empty.
Okay.
Yep, so that's all good to go. Down here is your water pump. So you can hear that start up. The water pump, if you are using onboard water and you're not hooked up to a hard connection, you would just turn that into the on position, and then you can use whatever you would like to.
Okay.
Yep.
And then when you're done, just turn it off.
Yeah. Yep. The lights, so this is going to be the accent lights above the slide out. You can see those. And this one is going to be your awning light. So that's good to go. Up here, this is your solar monitor. So you do have a roof-mounted solar panel. It's a 190-watt panel on this unit. What this is here for is basically to let you know if there's any issue with the solar. This is nothing you'll ever have to really mess with, quite honestly.
Okay.
If there is an issue with the solar, it'll actually alarm and let you know, hey, you got a problem.
Okay.
Yep. So pretty straightforward there. Moving back, you do have your stove here. And these glass cooktops, I always like to make people aware of this. When you're traveling, make sure they are closed. They break fairly easily, quite honestly. But your stove, you do have a few things here. So you do have backlighting on the stove. And then these are auto ignite burners. So you can actually turn them. And right now they're not going to ignite because I have the propane tanks off. Yep. So you do want to make sure the propane tanks are on to light those up. So
And then when we were done, we just turn it off. We just cut off the propane.
Yep. Just turn everything back to the off position. And if you guys would like,
Oh, this one is the ignite.
Yep, that's your ignite there.
Okay.
And if you'd like, I can crank on the propane and start them up for you.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. But yeah, and then the oven, you're just going to have the same exact thing. The downwards position is going to be for your oven, and it looks like on this one your ignite is actually right there, so you would just turn that to the flame and then hit your spark.
Oh, there's the 3 for the stove and then this one for the oven.
Yes, sir. Yep. The refrigerator in this unit, so this is a 12-volt refrigerator. When you're running down the road, it's going to charge right off of your tow vehicle. If you're disconnected sitting somewhere, it's just going to run right off of the battery.
Okay.
Yep, and this is a really nice refrigerator. It's a very good size. Biggest thing with these, when you shut them, so right there, it's not quite shut. You got to wait until you hear the click.
Okay.
Yep, and once you hear the click, you have just the little bar there you have to push down to reopen it. Those, if you don't shut them all the way, you'll end up with a mess.
Yeah, when you when it's swinging.
Oh, I've seen me do it. And I'm just going to close this too. Microwave, so just a standard microwave in this unit. This will run off of 30 amp. If you
So I have to connect them to the house, the campsite. You cannot use the battery.
Nope, they have too much draw on them, so basically this and your air conditioning won't run off of just the battery.
Okay.
But everything else in the unit will.
Okay.
Moving towards the back, so you do have a couple things going on here as well. Very good sized closet, and a nice feature. And then this is your main thermostat for the unit.
That's for the AC and heat.
Yep, so right down here you can see it just says off right now.
Yeah.
And as you toggle this over, it'll give you cool or heat. You can just select which one you would like.
Okay.
Where you would like the fan at. Auto high is where it's set right now. And you'll hear the AC kick up.
Yeah.
Yep. And then when you're ready to turn that off, just go back, go to the off position, fan off. Good to go. The furnace is going to work the same exact way. So you would just go to the heat setting, select heat, and then it'll give you the blower fan setting. You can select where you would want to run at. And when the propane tanks are on, that'll start right up. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to really get rolling. With the propane tanks off, if we try to light it right now, it's just going to sit there and try to light itself, which is actually somewhat bad for the igniters.
Okay.
Yep, so propane on and you're off and running.
AC run on propane too?
Nope, the AC is electric.
Electric,
so that is
okay,
one-
just the heater on the propane.
Exactly, heater in your stove.
Okay.
Stove and oven, I should say.
Okay.
Yep.
So we cannot use the heater as the electric. It has to run on propane.
Yep, the
heater,
heater,
okay.
well, not necessarily, because you do have two heat sources.
Okay.
So you do have up here.
That one's for the electric.
Yep, and this isn't gonna light for us right now.
Yeah.
Reason for that being, we're adapted down to a 110 outlet, so you do have to have actual 30 amp for the fireplace to work.
Okay.
The fireplace, this is a 5,000 BTU space heater.
Okay.
So a day like today, this would heat the whole camper, no problem.
Okay.
Yep. And again, you have to be on actual 30 amp power connection for that to fire.
This is the sound bar.
Yep, so that would be your sound bar, and you do have zoned speakers. So zone 1 is the interior speakers, zone 2 is your exterior.
Okay.
Yep. And those, they do work pretty well. They pick up signal pretty well with the aerials they use on these units, so shouldn't have any issue
This
with
is
that.
Bluetooth and everything, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, full Bluetooth, and they do give you the HDMI, so you can link it to the television if you would like to. And if you are going to mount a television, they mark the spot of the backer, so pretty straightforward.
So just feel.
Yeah, you can kind of feel it's a little more solid right where the backer is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just get the wall hanger and just put it right here and then put the TV. How big can?
So they recommend a 40-inch or smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And basically your main hold point, or where the screws are really going to dig in, is going to be right there.
Okay.
Yep. So a square bracket would work well in this one instead of one of the long ones.
Okay.
And if you are getting one that kind of comes out and pivots, make sure it has some sort of lockout on it. So when you're traveling, you can actually have it snap into place and be secure.
Okay.
I've seen that a lot too, where they come out. And the other thing on this unit, don't get an incredibly long bracket because you're slide out.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. Otherwise, back here, a couple more things that are good to know. So, in the bathroom, you don't have a ton going on here. This is just going to be your main light, and then you do have a GFI outlet, so you do have a breaker rate built into the outlet. Your fan is just right up top here, and this is a crank fan, so you can just crank the cap open if you want to use the exhaust fan on the unit. And I should have hit a switch around here somewhere.
So if we forget to close it, and then it's raining, it's gonna get wet.
Yeah, you want to make sure you close it. Oh, there's the switch right there.
Okay.
Yep.
That's blowing in or sucking it out?
That's sucking it out.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And we'll just close that up for you so you don't end up with water in here.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the shower, very straightforward. You just need to have the water pump on if you're feeding out of the tank.
Okay.
The shower doors, this particular one, they don't have a travel position, so it can be open, it can be closed, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, the bathroom's pretty simple. Your toilet, your flush is just right down here.
Okay.
Yep. The bunks, you do have the touch lights inside.
Okay.
Yep. And that'll be a nice spot for the kiddos to hang out. On the back right there, there is an emergency exit window.
Okay.
So essentially, if that ever needed to be used, that red handle comes up, slides over, and then you can push the whole window out.
Okay.
Yep. And they are, it takes a little bit of effort just to make sure it doesn't happen on accident.
Okay.
But yeah, good thing to know. And then right down here, that is your carbon monoxide detector. So if that goes off, it's basically telling you there's a gas issue somewhere in the camper.
Okay.
Best practice there, open the door, leave it open, just get out of the camper.
Well, this one right here, it's the same thing?
That's your fire alarm.
Oh, fire alarm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So carbon monoxide detector there, fire alarm up
Okay.
there. Yep. And then you do have some storage down underneath, and they do give you tubs. So you have a tub there, and 3 under the couch.
Okay.
Yep, and those just come right out for you. So, very nice setup there. And then your seating area. So you can remove the top here, and the legs just come out. The surface slides right in onto these supports, and you have another sleeping area. And then the backrest right over here, you can switch that to either side.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so you can see the little bracket right down there.
Oh, okay. So just take this one out and switch it to this side?
Yep, that just picks right up.
Oh, cool.
Yep, and it'll lock right in there, and it just gives you a bigger sleeping area on that side.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
What other questions do you have, Jack?
I think that should be. Yeah, that should be all.
Perfect.
Let me check this one. So can this one turn into a bed?
Yep, both of these turn into a bed, so
Yeah.
I can show you.
Yeah, Jackson, can you get that?
So basically, to turn this one into a bed, all you would do is lift up right down here.
Yeah.
This real quick. And this is just going to pivot.
That's good for one person.
Yep. And you can make this longer by lifting this up
This
and
one
just
put
putting it
down
on
the other side. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Should have plenty of sleeping space.
Yeah.
Just pop this right back up. Perfect. All right. And then your lights inside the slide out, those are just touch lights.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Look good.
Yeah, it's a nice camper.
Yeah.
Very nice camper.
Cái này mình hạ.
This one you can slide out or.
So basically, I'll just run through this real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah,
These surfaces, they lift right off.
Okay.
And you just set this aside. And then these pop right out.
Mm-hmm.
Set those aside.
Oh, you just put it right in there.
Yep, this is just actually going to slide right in there for us. And then
Cool.
the cushions are your filler pieces. So essentially what you would do is that one comes out, that one goes down, and then, which one is it? I think it's actually two of these.
Let's turn into another bed.
Yep. So there you
Cool.
have another bed. And
This
if
one-
you would like to, you can actually remove that backrest and fold down that couch, and you just have one huge area.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Cool. So it's fit, sleep 8 people comfortably.
Oh. Just new.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Perfect.
Yeah. We can do the paperwork and then
Awesome.
The hitch, equalizer hitch. we need
Yes.
that too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And actually, if you wanted to bring your truck over,
Okay.
we'll have one of our technicians come out and get started on the hitch.
Okay, sure. I'll back it up. Let me go get my truck here.
Can I go with you, Daddy?
Yeah, you can come with me. Rồi đi xong nha, quát tôi xong rồi, tôi chỉ mình xong rồi giờ hả? Oh, sorry. Yeah. No problem. Rồi lại chỉ cái nữa nè.
I always miss this. It's an
no
important one.
Yeah.
So right down here, that's your fuses and breakers. Yep. So all your breakers are right there.
Okay.
And then all your fuses are right here.
Okay. If you like throw too much power on the outlet or something, it will shut off and you just come over here.
Yep, so this is the 110 or 30 amp side of things, and this is all the 12 volt side.
Okay.
So if one of these were to blow out, you actually get a little light that says, you know, this fuse is bad, basically.
Okay.
What you'll want to do is get a handful of 15 amp fuses.
Okay.
And just leave them in the camper somewhere.
Okay.
And probably grab a couple of 40 amps too. The majority are 15 amp, but there is 240s in there also.
Okay.
Yep.
15 and 40.
15 and 40.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad I remembered that. You'd have been asking about that.
Oh, you like? Because they like to draw a lot of power. They don't know. Because even at my house, they put in electric heater in the garage, and they just draw so much power, and it just shut off.
Yep.
They like to do that.
All right, we should be good to go.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
I'll back up my truck. Rồi để cho xe tặng xe luôn.
Lấy à. Tặng lấy liền.
Đi. Rồi. Giờ về xe lại cho mấy người này làm gắn cái này cho xe rồi kéo về nhà thôi. Là vô cái giấy tờ nữa là xong rồi mọi người. Mày khoái lắm rồi đó mày. Thích không?
Yeah.
Kém bên.
I did
Sao-
blow my brain.
Đừng sao lấy tờ về nữa.
What is that?
A camber you put on the back of the truck. This one doesn't have wheels. You put it on the back of the truck.
Oh, you need to put it on the back of the truck.
So, bring this up first.
Want me to back it up a little more?
Yeah.
Okay.
But before you do that, let me actually show you how these come in and out.
Okay.
So, this pin here. Right. This means it's doing its job.
Do you storage?
What's that?
Do you do storage here in the winter?
Oh yeah. Yep, you can
You guys just bring it in and just park it for winter?
I think so, yeah. I think
I'll
Austin would
ask.
know more
Yeah.
about that, but just like that.
There.
Yep. So I forgot to twist it this way. And then you just take it like this. Stick it up in there.
Okay.
Just to here.
And then I can just use this to tow my boat too, right? I just remove this thing.
I don't see why not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the same
Just remove this
size ball and
two bar and then I can use this one. I think. Yeah.
That's a good question, though. I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, I know. I know. There's should be a problem.
All right, we'll go ahead and get you back up together.
Okay.